How's it going, all my tacticians? Welcome to another video from yours truly. Today we're going to be talking about how to make Silvally competitive in Pokemon Sword and Shield. With Incineroar coming out, and I think it's being 2020 legal or something, which really sucks because I like, VGC 2020 when Incineroar was not going to be on every team, but regardless, we have to press onwards, and today I wanted to talk about Silvally because, despite all the, some hate it gets because it's like Arceus, it's like people call it a discount Arceus, it's a legendary, but at the same time, it doesn't have the, legendary stats to back it up. It's not a pseudo-legend, for example. It just falls short of the 600, base stat total, which would make it a pseudo-legendary. And because of that, it's not, a very threatening Pokemon when people first glance at it. But there is one thing that Silvally does that not a lot of other Pokemon can do. And that is change itself on the fly here as my screen is going dark. Oh my goodness. Like I said, Silvally can change itself on the fly. You can do anything with Silvally. It's kind of like Mew. It's kind of like Arceus. It's like all those mythical legendary Pokemon that, have the same base or, same base stat in everything, say 100 in everything or 120 in everything, etc., etc. That is what Silvally excels at. It excels at being able to change itself on the fly. So you can see here, I have a, I chose to give my Sally my Silvally, Sally my Silvally, the fairy memory, which means currently she's pink. She's a fairy type. This gives her, it gives her the weakness to, I think it was steals and poison. But at the same time, she's immune to dragon type moves. So, and also has resistances to, I believe, fighting and I believe bug as well. But that's not all this does. See, when I have my Silvally here, I can also Dynamax it. I can actually go and when I Dynamax, the one thing that Silvally does that none of the other Pokemon do is that multi-attack will become, whatever type, memory it is. So if it's not carrying a memory type, if it's carrying, like, say, a Life Orb, it will be a normal type attack or a normal type attack. However, because of the memory, because I have a fairy memory installed on Sally here, it will become a fairy type attack. And multi-attack is a very powerful move. It's got a 120 base stat total, or not 120 base stat total, but a 120 base power. It has a 100 accuracy, so it's always gonna hit, provided you don't get, any accuracy drops. And it will always be the type that Silvally becomes. So if you want a dark type Silvally, well, there you go. Multi-attack will become a dark type. You want a, fairy type, as I have here, it will be a fairy type attack. You want dragon? It's going to be dragon. It doesn't matter what type you make your Silvally, it will always be that type. It also has access to some interesting moves here. As you can see here, I've given my Silvally Psychic Fangs. This actually is some really nice and useful tech on that I just really like throwing on, any of my physical attackers that I get the chance to. It's a really strong psychic type attack, and it breaks through and destroys light screens, or reflects aurora veils, etc., etc., every time they get set up. So I keep encountering prankster Grimmsnarls. They keep on trying to set up those light screens, those reflect barriers. They get very annoying. But Psychic Fangs will cut through them. It doesn't matter if the screen is up. It doesn't matter if reflect barrier is up. Psychic Fangs will hit through and hit for full power, as well as break the reflect barrier, etc. And it's huge, or it's high speed and high damage, means it will do a ton of damage. It will do a ton of damage. As for other moves, it has access to Parting Shot here, as you can see. And as for Iron Head, You know, it's there for some tech here. The parting shot I gave, you know, to help, you know, deal with, you know, any special or physical attacks, you know, reduce any of the damages down there. That's what I did with my Silvally here. So it might be a bit of delay on your screen, etc., as I'm switching between these moves, but that is what's on my Silvally. As for the nature, you know, one nature that's really common because multi-attack is a physical attack, then one nature you're going to want to go for is either an adamant or a jolly nature here. Going for either adamant if you want, you know, high physical power, or jolly if you want high speed. You know, maxing out that physical speed and attack stat best you can. But Silvally can also be run, you know, as an assault vest wearer. You know, if you want to give your Silvally, you know, an assault vest, it's got a really strong defense, you know, because, you know, both of its defenses are the same. So it's a really tanky, it can be a really tanky Pokemon if you really wanted to. It can be a Life Orb user, again, if you want to run a normal Silvally. Where it really falters, though, is that because Silvally can do a lot of things, it doesn't really specialize in anything. I think that's the one downside to Silvally, is that it does not, you know, specialize in anything. You have to figure out what you want your Silvally to do before it can actually do anything. So going over to the stats here, as you can see here, I've got it up on the screen right now. Silvally, like I said, none of the synthetic Pokemon. It's considered a legendary, despite the fact that it's got less stats than a pseudo legend. But the fact that it's qualified as a legendary comes from the RKS system it has. It changes its type depending on the held item it gets. And this is where I really like Silvally, and especially type null. If you go down here, we'll discuss type null, you know, another day. But for now, like I said, we're focusing on Silvally. If you have your type null, you get it in-game, it evolves with high friendship, becomes Silvally, it becomes this really, really, really strong Pokemon. It has 95 across the board in everything. Those are stats a lot of Pokemon would love to have in any one of their stats. The fact that Silvally has them in all of them, you know, it's not too bad. You know, it's not too bad. It's not something to scoff at, not something to say, you know, I don't like this or something. No, this is actually a very good Pokemon. It's just, like I said, it's a jack of all trades, but it's not good at any one thing it does. So if you want it to do something, you have to, you know, make it fit. You have to make it fit. You're gonna have to decide what you want it to do before it can do what you want it to do. So looking at the moves here, it gets access to pretty much every typing that it gets after it evolves, except for a few. So you're missing ground type. That's like one type you're gonna be missing here. There's no earthquake. There's no earth power. There's nothing like that. There's no, you know, power gem or anything like that to give Silvally that anti-rock, electric covering, etc. There's no, or anti-poison, etc. There's nothing like that to give it that kind of coverage, except ground typing. Unless you give it the ground typing, you're going to be down the ground type move, and that is one of the more common moves found in the game. But at the same time, it gets access to some powerful moves, such as the Explosion, a very powerful stab move if you're going for, you know, a physical attacking normal Silvally. It gets access to Aerial Ace. I don't know why they haven't boosted the power of like these, you know, base 50 or base 60 power moves that never miss. You know, just make it like 70. Make it worth our time to invest in. It's a good move. Just make it just a tiny bit more stronger. That's all I ask, Game Freak. I mean, come on. You give Fire Fang and Ice Fang. You give the other Fang moves some of the treatment. Same with Poison Fang. And they're just shy of 100 accuracy. But in any case, like I said, it learns Iron Head, a very powerful Steel type move, and good anti-fairy coverage. Gets access to X Scissor, some, you know, good anti-psychic coverage. Gets access to Crunch as well, anti-psychic, as well as I told you here, good parting shot, a very good move, And as for, TMs, etc., Hyper Beam, I don't know why people would want to run a Hyper Beam or Giga Impact, but hey, those are options there as well. You get access to some other tech here. You get access to Thunder Wave, get access to Rest. If you want to run a Rest, Resto, Rock Slide, your only Rock type coverage on Silvally. You get access to Icy Wind. You have some other accesses as well. Later on, we'll discuss those. Steel Wing, if you want to, take that risk and, maybe get a defense gamble. You get access to all 4 of the, weather terrain or weather moves, not weather terrain moves. I wish we had weather terrain moves. Oh my goodness. You have access to Facade, Swift, etc. Imprison, some useful tech. U-turn if you don't want to use Parting Shot and you want to deal damage before you skedaddle. There's that option. Payback there. I don't know why you run Payback. I mean, I think that's a move that, you deal damage if your opponent moves first. I don't know why you'd run that over something like Crunch, etc. But hey, it's there. Shadow Claw, some good ghost coverage. Air Slash as well, some flying. Snarl, if you want to run a special attacker and reduce physical or special attacks, there's that. For the TRs, this is where Silvally really starts to shine in. It gets access to some really good moves. Swords Dance, if you want to set up and sweep. Flamethrower to deal some burn damage. Surf, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Tri-Attack. These are all such good moves. Outrage, one of the strongest dragon-type moves in the game. High risk, high reward, though. If it hits the target you're not wanting to hit, it might bite you in the back. Heat Wave, Shadow Ball, Hyper Voice, they're all really good moves. Dragon Claw there if you don't want to run the Outrage. Flash Cannon if you're looking for a special attacking steel type equivalent. Iron Head, I don't know why you'd want to give Iron Head as a TR when it learns it naturally. And like I said, Psychic Fangs. Good, strong, psychic physical attack that deals with all those pesky light screens, reflect barriers, etc. These are some good moves that Silvally learns. But like I said, the one area where it shines is that it can do a lot of everything. But on the downside, it does a lot of nothing at the same time. You need to decide what your Silvally is gonna do. Do you want a tanky set sweeper Silvally? Do you want it to be a Chesto Resto set? Do you want it to just get in there, hit hard as fast as it can? Do you want it to run tech, etc.? You have to decide what your Silvally does. Because until then, it does a lot of nothing, but at the same time, it does a lot of something. And that is pretty much my explanation, my talking when it comes to Silvally. I hope you guys make use of Silvally in your teams. I hope you all make use of it. It's a really good Pokemon. It's a really strong attacker. It's just so sad that, it doesn't do a lot of everything. However, one thing that has been what's the word I'm trying to describe here as I'm literally recording this as I'm talking about it. The one thing that was, lacking in Alola when it was featured, if you scroll down here and you see multi-attack, let's see, where is multi-attack? You'll see here that it says it has a base power of 90. So that was what its big weakness was. However, if you were to go and look at Silvally now, you will find, yep, right there, as you can see, Silvally has multi-attack, but its base power has been increased to 120. So it is, it's so much better than it was back then. That increase in power really helps Silvally now. Now you can run that physical Silvally and really have a powerful attack no matter what. It may be known as Discount Arceus, but you know what? Whoopsie, I did not mean to scroll out there. Silvally may be known as Discount, Discount Arceus, however you want to pronounce it. But Silvally is still a very good Pokemon, and I hope you all make use of it in your future battles. Until next time, I will see you all. Bye-bye!